Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Conservative political activist Charlie Kirk is dead after he was shot at a Utah college campus. This morning, reaction from local lawmakers and President Trump.
We got a huge fentanyl bust in Bexar County. Could this be a sign the deadly drug is spreading faster? What the Bexar County Sheriff is saying this morning.
And it's a change of venue for this year's San Antonio 9/11 Memorial Climb, why firefighters will be remembering those lives lost 24 years ago at the Alamo Dome this morning.
Definitely a heavy morning of news today and continued prayers for multiple reasons, but we're going to get to all of that news and so much more throughout this morning.
Indeed. Well, let's kick things off with a look at the weather outside to see how we're doing on this Thursday morning with Justin.
Good morning to you guys. Yes, status quo. We're seeing temperatures right around 70 degrees. We'll be in the 90s this afternoon. So we're just kind of rinse and repeat here when it comes to the forecast. Let's take you outside. It is quiet for the moment. We've got temperatures right at 70 here in San Antonio, but we have dipped into the 60s in New Braunfels and Converse. So just like it has been all week long, we'll see a nice start to the day, a nice evening, but the afternoon is going to be quite toasty. So if you're headed to the bus stop, yes, it is early yet, but for those who are going early this morning, again, temperatures will be right around 70. 93 is where we end up once school is out later this afternoon. There is a very small chance for shower. I do need to mention this south and east of San Antonio. I don't think we see anything here, but for folks in Floresville, Pleasanton, over towards Cuero and Victoria and Beeville, there is that small chance that you could see a brief shower. The impacts will be minimal. The drought monitor is expected today. We have had recent rain, so what can we expect from that? We'll discuss coming up, but now we'll toss it over to Ernie.
Okay, thank you, sir. This morning, Governor Greg Abbott says that all government buildings around the state will lower the Texas and U.S. flags to half-staff in honor of Charlie Kirk. He was shot and killed yesterday at an event at Utah Valley University. Right now, no one is in custody. However, authorities in Utah are now searching for a new person of interest. Utah authorities said the shooter wore dark clothing and fired from a roof some distance away. As authorities look for the person who killed him, local and state leaders are reacting to his death. The governor released a statement saying in part, quote, "Charlie's voice was a beacon for millions of young Americans searching for truth, courage, and conviction. This senseless act of violence has no place in America," end quote. Other state leaders are also speaking out about Kirk's death, calling for an end to political violence, like State Representative James Tallarico, who said this at a campaign event here in San Antonio last night.
I disagreed with Charlie Kirk on almost every political issue, but Charlie Kirk was a child of God. He was our sibling, our brother. He was a human being.
State Representative Tallarico is a Democrat from Austin. Now, his event last night was supposed to be about his recent campaign launch for U.S. Senator, but instead he spoke about political violence in America. Meanwhile, President Trump is expressing his grief over the killing, calling it a dark moment for the country.
Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep.
Now, Charlie Kirk was 31 years old. He leaves behind a wife and 2 young kids.
Back here at home this morning, we got one man in custody after a fentanyl bust. It happened in the far west Bexar County. FBI, DEA, and Bexar County Sheriff's SWAT team surrounded a home looking for 30-year-old Darlarnus McGee. Not only did they catch McGee, but they also say that they found 32 grams of fentanyl. That's 16,000 times a lethal dose, which is 2 milligrams. This is just the latest fentanyl bust, and Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar says that it's hard to tell if there's been an increase in fentanyl.
Fentanyl is one of those insidious things like a cancer that even if you go months and months without seeing it, doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean it's not a threat, and doesn't mean it can't kill you.
A BCSO says that McGee will face at least several unspecified federal drug charges and then faces state charges after his federal arraignment.
A man is now in the Bexar County jail accused of stalking San Antonio Police Chief William McManus and his wife. He is 29-year-old Roger Vidito. According to an arrest affidavit obtained by KSAT, Vidito called and texted the couple at least 24 times between September 3rd and September 5th. Court documents state that he expressed anger and dissatisfaction regarding the outcome of one of his unrelated criminal cases. One of those text messages read, quote, "Well, I gave you your 15-day notice and, quote, a few more days left. Hope you make the right decision," end quote. Vidito was arrested earlier this week in the Rio Grande Valley. We reached out to the chief for comment, but so far have not received a response.
Taking a live look right now out at New York City. Today marks 24 years since the terrorist attack of 9/11. And this morning, an event here in San Antonio to honor first responders taking place at a new location. San Antonio, along with many other fire organizations, participate in the stair climb to honor those who were lost.
So it used to take place at the Tower of the Americas, but our Patty Santos is live at the Alamo Dome this morning to tell us why the event is being held there this year. Patty.
Yeah, the organizers found out on July that there's renovations going on at the Tower of the Americas. That's usually where we see the setup going on outside. I was there last year. This year, they decided to move it here to the Alamo Dome. We want to give you a live look right now. Now, we want to give you a look inside. The crews are actually lining up right outside those doors here. But everything here is already set up. We're seeing some of the signs up here. San Antonio 110, Honor 9/11 Memorial Climb. It's usually called the 9/11 Tower Memorial Climb, but this year they're removing the tower. But here's what's going to happen. They're actually going to be going up and down all these stairs. They've calculated everything to make sure that they know that it's going to be the same number of stories. It's 110 stories that they usually climb to represent the 110 stories of the towers, of the Twin Towers. So this is the setup right now. The lights have just been turned on. This is where everything will kick off around 8 a.m. but the registration starts at 6. Now, we got a chance to talk to one of the firefighters that's going to be taking part in this. And, she tells us she wasn't even born, but this means so much to her and to her brothers. Take a listen.
I grew up in a military family, so my dad did join following the events of 9/11. So we did kind of grow up with that patriotism and paying that respects to our service members, our first responders. I'm very excited. It is very bittersweet, but I am excited to be a part of something that does mean so much to the fire service.
And the tower climb here in the San Antonio area started about 14 years ago, again, to honor the law enforcement and the firefighters that were killed during the 9/11 attacks. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to introduce you to some of the other folks that are going to be taking part in this climb today. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Patty, thank you. This morning, we're also taking a moment to recognize Lieutenant Colonel Karen Wagner, who died in the 9/11 attacks at the Pentagon. Wagner was a 1979 Judson High School graduate who paid the ultimate sacrifice on that day. For 20 years, her namesake school, Wagner High School, has honored her memory on this day. Wagner was in Washington, D.C. during the attacks and died trying to save others. She was commissioned in 1984 as a Medical Service Corps officer, and her assignments included duties at Fort Sam Houston and Walter Reed Army Medical Center.
Absolutely. Karen Wagner's legacy will continue to live on. Let's give you a look here at some of your morning headlines here across the state. It's going to be harder for minors in Texas to get their hands on THC products. That's the goal behind Governor Greg Abbott's new executive order. It bans retailers from selling THC products to minors. Now, anyone buying a THC product has to show identification, and retailers caught selling those products to minors will lose permits. Now, this comes after the state legislature failed to pass a ban on the sale of hemp products to customers under the age of 21. It's unclear when the age limit restriction will actually begin, though. All right, this morning in Colorado, a community shaken after yet another school shooting, this one injuring 2 students. The shooter there turning the gun on himself and later dying. Now, video shows terrified students, you see some of that right there, fleeing the scene and ringing a doorbell at a nearby home. Others were on lockdown inside Evergreen High School. Now, police say that first responders reached the scene within minutes of receiving the first 911 call. Officials say the suspect was a classmate of the 2 students that were shot. Okay, we're going to switch gears here and give you an update on the traffic situation because we do have an ongoing incident right here on the north side of town. So just a few minutes ago, we noticed that there was a vehicle that was facing in the opposite direction here at 410 at Harry Wurzbach Road. So these are the westbound lanes of 410 at Harry Wurzbach. Now, fortunately, it looks like we do have at least a hero truck there, maybe an SAPD officer also that have arrived on the scene because that vehicle was facing in the opposite direction with the headlights on. Kind of a scary situation. Here's our westbound lanes of 410 right there, Harry Wurzbach. So that's going to be right before you exit onto Broadway and before you get to 281. So be careful if you're headed out on the north side this morning. Ongoing construction delays, 281, 1604. Things starting to pick up in that one particular spot. And same situation here. We're picking up over at Bitters and 1604 as well. Let's check in with Alex Gomez here. Things are looking in Drive Cam on this Thursday.
Yeah, good morning, RJ. And downtown traffic is also looking a lot better, too. Construction is fading away. 35 northbound has reopened lanes from Cesar Chavez all the way up to I-10. So more space for drivers now, RJ.
All right, we'll look more into that. Thank you very much, Alex. Justin?
Thanks, sir. At South Live Cam, it is 511, 70 degrees. Another very comfortable morning. Coming up, we're going to take a look at some stats when it comes to rainfall. The drought monitor due in a few hours. We'll show you what we think it's going to show coming up.
Right up next, I first look at a new PlayStation Family app giving parents more control over their kids' screen time.
Plus, we know child care costs are sky high, and too many families are forced to leave kids in unsafe situations, according to one organization. Coming up, we got how a new Head Start at the South Side is trying to change that and give children a strong start. 5:14 right now. Welcome back. Here's a sad reality. Child care is very expensive. Well, the nonprofit Family Service says a lot of child abuse happens when children are placed in unsafe environments due to that desperate family having to work to put food on the table. Well, because of that fact, this Head Start that you see here was built on the south side at the Presser Community Center, which is essentially in a child care desert. Family Service started it because they found that a lot of kids in this area suffer as far as being prepared for kindergarten. A 2022-2024 census that they completed tracked that between 39 and 47% of kindergartners surrounding the Presser Community Center who struggle in early development. That's in comparison to the 29% vulnerable kindergartners in the greater San Antonio area. Now, those are alarming stats that Family Service hopes to fix in the community, which we first told you about last week and the services they offer for seniors. Currently, they have 23 Head Start locations throughout the San Antonio area serving over 800 kids. And this one right here is one of 4 standalone locations they opened due to the need. It'll be 2 classrooms that could serve 17 3 to 4-year-olds, each with 2 staff members, all for free. Why is it so important to have this standalone site in this part of town?
Well, as Miss Mary mentioned, sometimes families, what's stopping them from moving forward with whatever it is that they're trying to do is childcare. And so childcare is so important to this community, and we're trying to make sure that we're providing that service to those individuals so that they can move forward with whatever it is they're trying to accomplish in life.
Now, this Head Start will also provide wraparound services that you can find in this article at KSAT.com. If you search Family Service Head Start, you can click on a link and it'll take you to this webpage. But coming up at 6, you're going to meet one abuela taking advantage of these resources. And you're going to hear why she says having this Head Start in the Presser community is helping her financially and her 2-year-old granddaughter emotionally.
All right, good stuff there, Jeff. Well, what a moment of reaction for the students in the Hill Country as Spurs players, you see them right there, including Victor Wembanyama, surprised dozens of kids at Ingram Moore High School. Check out some of this video here. Spurs players visited to spread a little bit of love and joy to the area after the floods back in July 4th. Now, the kids had no idea the Spurs were showing up, and the Spurs actually held a practice in front of them. All of these kids were from Hunt Middle School and Ingram Moore High School in the Hill Country. The Spurs also met with the kiddos and talked with them. Here's what Keldon Johnson had to say.
I know for me, for my teammates, we wanted to just give them something to smile about. You know, whatever they take from this, you know, it means a lot to us. We just want them to take something, whether it's we got to meet somebody to play for the Spurs, we got to smile, we got to play basketball, we got to play knockout, we got to watch them dunk, you know, all these different things. We got to go play with, shake Vic's hand, whatever it may be. That's what we want them to take from it. It's no certain message, except that we're family and we're all in this together.
We've shown up prior to this as an organization, but we wanted to make sure that the players got here because we knew the kids would be pretty fired up to see them interact with them, as you can hear in there. And so that was the motivation for today, I think, was to allow our players to see, you know, some of the things that happen to this community and to our neighbors, then also to come here and try to put a smile on some of these kids and people's faces.
All right, you see how excited they were to see Victor walk into the building. And I believe, guys, this is the first time the Spurs players had been back to the Hill Country since 1997, when a guy named Tim Duncan was...
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yes.
I've heard of him.
We had him. So, yeah, good times out there for the Spurs. They've been out to the Hill Country a couple of times to visit.
Sure, yeah.
But this is the first time the players have been up there.
That's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, how are we looking on the roadways right now?
All right, Jeff. Yes, let's transition here to this incident over by 410 on the north side of town. So these are going to be our westbound lanes right here at 410. Harry Wurzbach had a vehicle, not sure what happened, but it spun around, was facing the opposite direction. So this is our main lanes of 410 right there at Harry Wurzbach. And this is going to be right before you exit onto Broadway Street and before you get to parts of Nacogdoches and, of course, on your way to Highway 281. So an ongoing situation right here in the north side, but this is going to be the biggest thing we're following at the moment. Let's check in with Alex right now and see how things are looking in Drive Cam for us on this. Okay, I believe Alex may be at the scene. Alex, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. So here's what the scene looks like street level. We do have a tow truck now on scene. So we are in the clearing stages so we can get this wrapped up pretty soon right now. But in the meantime, the right lanes are going to be closed on 410 westbound. The exit to Broadway is still open, but the entrance ramp to get on the highway from Harry Wurzbach, now that's the entrance ramp that's going to be closed this morning, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much. Alex Gomez first on the spot for us in Drive Cam. Justin, how are we looking this morning?
Well, it's quiet. We've got temperatures right at 70 degrees here in San Antonio. We'll make it up to 79 by 10 o'clock. 85 noontime, 94 will be your high today. So right about where we were yesterday. We got up to 92, so maybe a couple degrees warmer. If you're going out to some of the football games tonight, Marshall versus Taft, just one of many good games. This is at Ferris Stadium. Kickoff 91. So hot at kickoff, but I'll tell you this, sun goes down around 7:43. So by halftime, it probably won't feel that bad. 85 still warm, but you know, lower humidity, sun's down, it's doable. 80 degrees by the drive home. So good football weather, at least by South Texas standards. Now, I will tell you, there is a very small chance of a shower, mainly south and east of San Antonio. We're talking 10% or less. But I got to mention it because there could be a shower that pops up. It will be rather insignificant, though, brief. Even if it does happen, so we're not expecting much rain. San Antonio is now 3 inches above average. We're at 25.08 after those soaking rains last weekend. Good to see us above average. So the question, I think, with the drought monitor coming in a little bit later this morning is where do we end up drought-wise? And I think that it's going to show some pretty good improvement. Now, if you look at the percent of normal rainfall over the last 30 days, so what do you take away from this map? Well, where you see the blues and greens, that's where you had above average rainfall. So your percentage is higher than 100%. Kerrville, obviously, San Antonio, Hondo, Fredericksburg, those were all areas that saw pretty good rain. Now, the flip side to this is areas south and east of San Antonio had a bit of a deficit. But those are areas that weren't as in a big of a drought. So, you know, it's all about the numbers here. But once that drought monitor comes out, we'll pass it along to you. Canyon Lake's at 68% full, Medina 6% full. Travis was the big winner through all of this, up to 87% full. But if you look at the comparison to 3 months ago, all of these reservoirs are up. So that is encouraging. And again, I do think we'll see some improvement in the drought monitor once that comes in a little bit later this morning. 95 Friday, 94, 95. That is going to be the high temperature going forward. All the way into next week. Still not seeing any real pattern changes even next week. So status quo. All right. Just asked Justin this morning. I wanted to know, population-wise, what's the largest metropolitan area in the world when you're talking about number of people? Is it New Delhi, India, New York City, Shanghai, China, or Tokyo, Japan? Vote. Don't Google. KSAT.com/poll. Scan the QR code.
Okay.
No cheating.
We'll see. No cheating.
522 right now, 70 degrees outside.
Right up next, why Texas Senator Ted Cruz is pushing a new bill that could give AI companies more freedom with less federal oversight.
In today's Tech Bites, parents getting more control of video game time. Sony's new PlayStation Family app lets adults set playtime limits and create content filters while offering real-time updates on what games their kids are playing. Next, Amazon is now in the robo-taxi race. Its company Zoox just started operating around the Las Vegas Strip. Their vehicles have two bench-like seats that face each other and no steering wheel. Rides can be booked for free through the Zoox app. Senator Ted Cruz has introduced a bill that would ease AI regulations for tech companies. The legislation will let the companies apply for regulatory exemptions, allowing them to more freely experiment in developing technology. Critics say the bill is a sweetheart deal for big tech CEOs. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Perry Russum. Have a great day.
And good morning. Coming up on this 5:30, here we are on your Thursday, an anniversary for 9/11.
Yeah, well, and you alluded to it earlier. It's a heavy time right now, and so we've got a lot to focus on, and a lot of conversations being happening, in different houses, mine included. So we're going to get to all those headlines here in just a little bit, but we're going to go outside and see how things are doing. I know we've got some football to talk about later on this evening, and a bird, I guess.
We do.
Hey, is that a grackle?
That is a turkey, actually.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Oh, no, it's almost that time.
Yeah, he's, it's getting to that time. This guy's safe, I promise you. But Mary said while riding her bike along the San Antonio River bike trail, she saw some of these turkeys crossing the trail, and they look very healthy. That's good to hear. Oh, they are. They sure are. We appreciate the picture as always. That's cool. I always love seeing wildlife in the San Antonio setting here. All right, temperatures today. We'll start off right around 70. We'll make our way up to 82 at 11 o'clock. Noontime 85, and then 94 will be our high temperature today. Mostly sunny. It'll look a lot like yesterday. Now dew points are still tolerable. You can kind of feel the humidity, but it's not overly high. So dew points are going to be in the pleasant category going forward. I mean, look how steady this line is. There's no big push of humidity or no big front to dry us out. So we'll just kind of be stuck in that pleasant category, which isn't a bad place to be going forward, which will keep our weather pretty quiet going forward.
5:30 right now. This morning, we got Governor Greg Abbott says that all government buildings will lower the Texas and U.S. flags at half-staff in honor of Charlie Kirk. He was shot and killed yesterday at an event at Utah Valley University, many calling it a political assassination. Right now, no one is in custody. However, authorities in Utah are now searching for a new person of interest. As authorities look for the person who killed him, local and state leaders are reacting to his death. Governor Abbott released a statement saying in part, quote, Charlie's voice was a beacon for millions of young Americans searching for truth, courage, and conviction. This senseless act of violence has no place in America, end quote. Other lawmakers across Texas reacted to the news, saying U.S. Representative Lloyd Doggett posted on X saying, quote, violence is never the answer, and we must settle our differences with ballots, not bullets. U.S. Representative Joaquin Castro of San Antonio says that political violence has no place in our society. My prayers are with Charlie Kirk and his family. We have more reactions from other lawmakers like Joe Biden, former President Joe Biden, and so much more coming your way, and it's right now at KSAT.com. We're going to take a live look out now right now at New York City, today marking 24 years since the terrorist attack of 9/11. And this morning, an event here in San Antonio honoring first responders taking place at a new location. Hundreds of first responders driving in from all across Central and South Texas to honor the lives of those killed on September 11, 2001.
Right, it's a phrase often said, never forget, and first responders are staying true to that. Our Patty Santos is live inside the Alamo Dome this morning, where the San Antonio 110 9/11 Memorial Climb is being held and getting ready to start in just a little bit. Patty.
Hey there, good morning, guys. We are actually getting a sneak peek inside. The crews are lining up right outside, but we're already starting to see some of the volunteers starting to show up. The registration starts at 6 a.m. But here's what usually happens is these firefighters put on their gear, about 80 pounds of their gear on, and then they'll climb and they'll try to simulate the 110 stories that represents the Twin Towers. Each one of the towers was 110 stories. And they'll climb that. They usually do it, like you said, at the Tower of the Americas, but because of construction renovations on that tower, they had to pivot and really quickly come up with another way. So here we have a whole lot of stairs at the stadium, as you can see. And luckily, being able to work with the Alamo Dome, they were able to figure out exactly how many times they need to go up and down these stairs. Take a listen.
That adds up to, again, approximating what they would do at the Tower of the America. And we're just so happy to be able to do something like that here.
So this has been going on at the Tower of the Americas for about 13 years. This is the first time that it moves from that location into this location. And as you can see, there's a whole lot of stairs. Not a lot of people here yet, but here in a little bit, in about an hour, we're going to see some of those volunteers starting to come in. Again, the registration opens at 6 a.m. and the climb starts at 8. But there's going to be a whole lot of different ceremonies honoring the 9/11 victims right before that climb begins. We're going to stay here throughout the morning and bring you the very latest. We'll send it back to you.
Patty, thank you. To some other headlines now. A road that turns into a river. That is what one southeast side neighborhood says happens anytime it rains. We're talking about Channing Avenue near the Macrila Shopping Center, and here it is right here. Years ago, the city added this one drain at the end of their block, but after that didn't stop water from rushing down their street. One neighbor says the city dug this big hole across her front lawn to help drainage. But they say that still didn't work, and that's why they're looking for another solution.
And it's scary because here we go. It's going to be another, how long, 27 years before I can get this figured out? That's not fair. It's not fair to us.
So the mayor's team surveyed Channing Avenue earlier this week. The mayor was also planning to visit 14 state-identified locations in San Antonio that need flood mitigation projects, and that list is right now on our website, KSAT.com.
All right, $10,000 a month. This is for a media consultant, and that's the latest in a staffing shakeup by Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones. KSAT Investigates obtained reports that show that the city and Frontwood Strategies, which is a Washington, D.C. communications firm, signed a contract late last month to provide Mayor Jones outside media help through the end of October for up to $30,000. An Austin-based specialist from San Antonio now working in the mayor's office, and that person will help manage future stories, arrange interviews, and share updates on Project Marvel and the mayor's role regarding the city's budget. Mayor Jones said that this support will bridge the gap until she finds a permanent communications team. Meanwhile, we got that contract came up while council members met to discuss the city's budget yesterday. Councilman Mark White brought it up, and that's when things got tense between he and the mayor.
You asked me, I answered your question. If you'd like historical information about what others have been paid, you can be provided that.
And the mayor said that the pay matches what previous mayors have spent on communications staff. And according to records, the contract between the city and the media consultant ends in November.
Following the tragedy in the Hill Country on July 4th, members at a Guadalupe flood planning meeting are looking for safer ways for development in flood-prone areas. Some people in Comfort spoke about that at last night's meeting, about the history of floods in their city and how they have impacted their lives forever.
Given we have had 4 National Water Service declared flood events on the river in Comfort in the last 10 years, each with over 5 inches of rain, it's a miracle that we have not suffered more.
The Guadalupe Flood Planning Group provides updates on the recovery and gives the community a chance to voice their concerns. Their next meeting will be November 12th at 2 p.m. in Seguin.
All right, let's
give you an update here on the traffic situation, and want to show you some other cameras across our area right now. 37 at the Alamodome Tower, bird's eye view there of the Gonzales Convention Center. Traffic looking pretty good along many parts of 37 right there. You saw a shot there. A couple of our far north side cameras, 281 Overlook Parkway and Borgfield. So let's get you an update on the situation on 410 Harry Wurzbach Road. That's going to be this one particular spot, and they have actually already cleared out that accident there in the westbound lanes of 410 at Harry Wurzbach. So anyone headed out to Broadway, Nacogdoches 281, you should be good to go there. Again, good work by our officials out there, TxDOT, along with San Antonio Police Department, clearing some of that activity out. Now, the situation here, still ongoing construction right here, Northwest Military Highway. This is for all of our eastbound traffic, 1604, and you're starting to see a little bit of backup right there headed towards Bitters Road. So keep that one in mind. That's going to be on the far north side of town. We're going to clear out that accident here in just a little bit. A reminder that the traffic situation, 35 northbound headed into downtown, looks like that is getting a little bit better. So we'll continue to talk about that as they reopen a section of that from Cesar Chavez to the I-10 exit, going again from the southern part of downtown all the way to the northern part. Let's check in with Alex right now for a look at things in Drive Cam. Alex.
Yeah, good morning, RJ. You're right. The north side is back open again. 410 West at Nacogdoches, all lanes have reopened. Now I'm headed to the west side. I'm hearing of a reported jackknifed 18-wheeler near Callahan and 151. Now, I think it's going to be on the access road, not on the main lanes, but I'm headed that way just to confirm, RJ.
Okay, Alex, we will check on that as well, along with our folks at TransGuide. Justin?
Thanks, sir. We'll see if we can dip into the 60s this morning. It's 5:39, 70 degrees, but we may see a few 60s even here in San Antonio before it's all said and done. Hey, the tropics have been quiet until now. We have a new area that we've got to watch. I'll show it to you coming up.
All right, today, a San Antonio councilwoman faces a censure vote over her DWI arrest. What we know about her blood alcohol level and how the mayor is responding.
The city council could vote today to levy fines up to $2,000 for abandoning animals in San Antonio, while the mayor tried to pull it and was forcing the issue back on the agenda.
And right now I'm headed to the west side where there's a reported 18-wheeler that has jackknifed near Callahan and 151. Now, I'm not too far away from the scene. After the break, I'll be able to give you some more details.
5:45 now. Later on today, one San Antonio city leader will be in the hot seat. District 8 Councilwoman Ivalis Mesa Gonzalez faces a censure vote after her DWI arrest back in July. We know that the district attorney's office has refiled the case as a DWI offense with a blood alcohol content level of more than at least 0.15. Now, for context, the legal limit is 0.08. Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones called for the meeting, citing new information, but we don't know whether that new information is about Mesa Gonzalez's blood alcohol level. The censure vote is supposed to take place later on this afternoon.
And before that, city leaders are scheduled to vote on fines for abandoning animals in San Antonio. The city council was originally supposed to vote last Thursday on whether to fine people between $500 and $2,000 for abandoning any animal within the city. But Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones withdrew that proposal, saying the idea was part of a proposal that was submitted before she and the new council members took office. However, the councilwoman who wrote the original proposal, Councilwoman Marina along with Councilwoman Terry Castillo and Councilman Mark White, filed a 3-signature memo to force a vote on today's agenda.
All right, so a lot going on with City Hall. Let's give you an update here at the Traffic Authority, our TransGuide traffic cameras, and we're going to show you some construction along 1604 that is still in place for all of our folks in that part of the city. Again, good morning to everyone out there. Now, do want to update the situation right here on the west side of town because Alex, literally Johnny on the spot here, talking about a potential accident right here, 151. This is going to be South Callahan Road, and for all of our folks that are familiar with this entire stretch, this is going to be 151 headed towards 90. Again on the west side of town, and this is going to be right there at historic old Highway 90. So that's that cross street. South Callahan kind of runs north and south off of 151. That's our camera there, Military Drive. Unfortunately, we don't have a camera there, but we'll check in with Alex here in just a bit. But quick update here. It looks like finally construction clearing out for all of our drivers along Northwest Military Highway, Chabonneau Park, obviously stretching all the way back to Tradesman and parts of 1604 and 10. So good news there. But let's check in with Alex, see how things are looking in Drive Cam. because it appears as if he has made it out to that scene along 151 at Callahan. Let's go to Alex right now. Alex, what can you tell us?
Yeah, and that's where I'm at right now, RJ. 151 headed eastbound towards Highway 90, and you can see there's a slowdown right here. Now, earlier there was reports of a jackknife 18-wheeler, and I thought I heard it was on the access road, but as you can see, this is the main lanes where we do see some slowing. I'm quite not there yet to the scene, but once I get a little bit further, I can give you some more details. So far, I've only been in this for a few minutes, but I'll let you know how long I've been stuck in this the next time we talk, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much for that update. Alex, along 151, headed towards that accident there. Justin, how are we looking outside on this Thursday morning, sir?
Another nice morning. Temperatures sitting right at about 70 degrees. Now, yesterday we had this ozone action day. They have issued again today. It likely will be issued during the afternoon. We'll see if the ozone levels go up again. They did a little bit yesterday afternoon, but it wasn't a big deal. And air quality, so far, so good. Something we'll watch today. Temperatures 70 again at the airport, 61 Kerrville, 66 in New Braunfels, 68 in Uvalde, 78 Eagle Pass, 72 Carrizo Springs. You get the idea. It's pretty nice. Dew points are in the mid-60s, so this is kind of in that middle range where it's not super sticky, but it's also not pleasant. Call it muggy, at least a little bit. You can kind of feel the humidity this morning. But these dew points are low enough to where by the afternoon and evening hours, it doesn't feel so bad. High temperatures today will be around 94 here in San Antonio, 93 Hondo, 96 in Carrizo Springs, 97 in Cotulla. A hot day and a little bit above average. As we look at the futurecast here, there are some indications we could see a pop-up shower. The models continue to hint at that, but I will tell you, first off, it'll be few and far between. We're talking 10% or less when we're talking chances. And if one does bubble up, it will last a very short amount of time. So the impacts here are next to nothing. But I did want to mention that it's not out of the question. Out in the tropics, it's been so quiet for so long. We finally do have an area here that the Hurricane Center is watching. Now, this is sort of anticipating some development because this wave is still out over parts of Africa. But once it emerges, the Hurricane Center over the next 7 days thinks there's about a 30% chance of development. Where it would go from there, I think there's still some question, something that we'll watch as well. But the tropics finally starting to heat back up a little bit after being in quite a lull there for a week or so. All right, our extended forecast, 95 Friday, 95 Saturday, 94 Sunday. That means that you want to talk about the picture of consistency here. That is this. There is just nothing going on here. The pattern is kind of stuck for now, and that will keep us basically at the same place each and every day temperature-wise. All right, speaking of places, I want to know what's the largest metropolitan area in the world when we're talking about population. So your choices are New Delhi, New York City, Shanghai, or Tokyo. You can vote. Right now we got votes for split between New Delhi and Tokyo. Go to ksat.com/poll, scan the QR code. That answer heads your way in about 1 hour.
Thank you, sir.
All right, 5:51 right now, 70 degrees outside.
We're well into the month of September. Now is your chance to nominate your favorite educator at your school or your child's school for KSAT's Educator of the Month Award.
All you got to do, scan that QR code right there on your screen, or you can go to our website, ksat.com, search Educator of the Month. This is a wonderful opportunity to shine that spotlight on people who do so much for our students and our community. 5:54 right now. We got your nominations for the SA Picks 2025 contest. They are in. And again, you have been coming through with all of your favorite top businesses.
And we appreciate it. But you can still scan the QR code on the screen to see the finalists and put your vote in by September 20th. You can vote for each category once a day. There have been more than 22,000 votes so far, and we'll announce the winners later on this month. All right, meanwhile, how would you like to try food from 20 top restaurants from across Texas? Of course you would. The meals are prepared by Michelin and James Beard award-winning chefs. We're talking about the second annual Texas Eats Food Festival.
That QR code on your screen, can pull your phone out, scan it. The event happening September the 20th and is taking place at the Bowen Techport Center. Portion of the proceeds will benefit the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country.
Okay, 5:55 right now, 70 degrees outside.
She rescued her grandkids, but again, childcare still a bit of a struggle. Up next, we got how a local organization is making life easier for her and others.
And we're live at the Alamo Dome this morning with this year's 9/11 Memorial Climb is taking place in just a little while. We're going to tell you about the change of venue, why it's not at the Tower of the Americas this year. That's coming up.
And of course, we got our very own photojournalist Alex Gomez stuck in traffic with you, showing you what your commute is looking like this morning. We're going to check in with him, figure out where he's headed up next.